Straight ahead on NBC 16 today, Douglas County is under a drought emergency this morning. We'll explain the reason for the declaration.
Plus, we're hearing from the Bethel School District on their DEI policies just as the Department of Education released funds for K-12 schools.
And the flock is migrating to Springfield. We'll hear from Springfield Police Department as well as some of the local reaction on the new flock cameras being installed there. NBC 16 today starts right now.
Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 Today.
Oh, good morning, Lily. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
To another fresh work week. Did you have a good weekend?
I did, yeah. Kyle and I, my husband and I, went to the Lake County Fair. That was super fun. We saw the pigs, we saw motocross, we got all our fair food, so pretty successful trip.
Nice. I got music and fried Oreos. That's all I needed out of life. So a weekend well spent. And now looking forward to the next week. Fair's cleanup is underway, and they'll do so under not overwhelmingly hot temperatures, which is nice. A little bit of a break. Not too hot over the weekend either.
No, not too bad. Even this morning, I had my sweater on, so I knew that was a good sign.
Yeah, what was it? Saturday, I think it was clouded over. Pretty nice forecast. Kept us really, really cool. We're starting off in similar places. Another cooler start to the morning like we've seen over the past couple of days. Temperatures really settling into the high 40s and low 50s across the region, even out to the coast where we're seeing temps as low as 45 up in Newport. So starting to shift away from those overwhelmingly warm starts to the morning where we're up into the mid and upper 60s at some points later in the past couple of weeks. Roseburg, unsurprisingly, our hot spot on the map as we wake up this morning, and Bandon still holding on to those temperatures just below that 50-degree mark. Now, I'm not bringing up this graphic because of a bunch of rain coming our way. It's all about the colors over into central and eastern Oregon. So not seeing much moisture in our region, maybe a little bit out on the coast in that morning dew, but chances for some thunderstorms out across the landscape in central and eastern Oregon. So that wildfire factor is going to be up once again this week. So it's another way, if you're out recreating at all as you continue to enjoy your summer, make sure you're doing so safely, as pairing that with some moderate winds over the next couple of days are going to create some opportunities for prime wildfire conditions. So make sure, once again, you're practicing safe wildfire practices out there across the landscape. Temperatures today not climbing overwhelmingly high, just back up to the 80s. Upper 80s at the very warmest parts of our day. So good day to get some sunscreen out, as that sunshine will be bright throughout the afternoon.
We start with an update on a couple of wildfires burning across the state. There has been some progress on the Burdoin fire just across the border in Washington state. So far, that fire has burned over 11,000 acres, destroyed 19 homes and 30 other structures. However, containment has increased to 54%. The cause of that fire is still under investigation. Meanwhile, the Cram fire burning in Jefferson County is now at 100% containment. It's more than 95,000 acres in size, which has made it one of the largest fires in the country so far this year. Some areas on the southeast border of the fire are still under level 1 get set evacuation orders. Otherwise, all evacuations have been lifted. This fire was found to be human-caused. Residents in Douglas County are being asked to conserve water. That's due to the county issuing an emergency drought order.
The county commissioners say this measure is necessary to protect people and livestock, as well as minimize economic damage, as well as help mitigate the threat of wildfires. A copy of the order has been sent to the governor's office requesting an emergency drought declaration, which would allow expedited water management tools and increased flexibility in how water resources are managed. The order comes as a result of a severe multi-year drought condition. Douglas is the third county in Oregon to declare an emergency drought order, following Baker and Lincoln counties. Turning to the homeless crisis, an executive order threatens to change the way the federal government prioritizes funding for homeless services.
The order issued by the Trump administration last week vows to institutionalize homeless people and says it will push cities to clear homeless camps.
Christina Giardinelli from our Portland sister station breaks down how the order could impact Oregon's homelessness programs.
People sleeping on the streets, pitching tents in public parks, and along the sides of freeways. It's a visual that's not unique to Oregon. Across the nation, homelessness has been on the rise, with many western states, like Oregon, leading that spike. The Trump administration vowing to address the issue with an executive order that shifts how money for homeless services is distributed. For example, it tells agencies like HUD to prioritize funding for organizations that prohibit drug use.
There's an open war kind of declared on housing first.
Homeless advocates like Jimmy Jones, executive director of Mid-Willamette Valley Community Action Agency, worry that could mean federal funding cuts for low-barrier shelters.
In the 1990s, the common approach in homeless services essentially was what we refer to as a staircase model, a transitional model. The belief was that people couldn't make progress towards stability and permanent housing until they had taken a series of steps.
While many shelters, like most gospel missions, still follow that model, in recent years, HUD has prioritized money for Housing First models that give people shelter and housing before trying to get them to take steps like sobriety or job searches.
And what this executive order wants us to do is turn back the clock 30 years.
Can you give me a picture, since you are so involved in the Marion Polk County COC? What portion of funding overall for that COC is HUD? Just rough estimate.
Right. I would say that of all the dollars coming into Marion and Polk counties from all government sources, I would still say that it's about 70% state, around 30% federal.
For NBC 16, I'm Cristina Giardinelli.
Thank you, Christina. Some regions get more federal funding than others, with most of that determined on competitive grants. Overall, most of Oregon's homeless funding is from the state right now. The order also vows to civilly commit people with mental health issues and substance use disorders.
Just before the weekend, the U.S. Department of Education released $5 billion that was still frozen in federal funding for K-12 schools. However, in order for schools to use this money, they have to abide by federal laws and President Trump's executive orders, particularly one focusing on diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Bethel School District's assistant superintendent joined other local experts on Friday at a forum put on by the City Club of Eugene at Wow Hall, saying the district does abide by federal rules, but will still maintain DEI programs and policies in some capacity as it continues to focus on being a welcoming place for all students.
We welcome all students. We don't require birth certificates. We don't require that somebody check a box. We don't track this information about who does or does not have legal documents to be in this country. What we do recognize and respect that they have a culture and a family.
The district says Oregon's education policies help ensure districts maintain a diverse workforce that is reflective of student populations. The U.S. Department of Education says it will be checking up on school districts to ensure they are abiding by federal laws and executive orders.
The flock cameras you see around Eugene are making the jump across the I-5. The Springfield Police Department was awarded a $96,000 grant that made it all possible. Soon, residents will see 25 new flock cameras, also known as automatic license plate readers. Lieutenant George Crawley with the Springfield Police Department says the flock cameras have the capability to act as a search database for EPD, allowing them to search for wanted suspects and give them time to plan a safe, less tactical arrest.
The cameras are on 24 hours a day, and we're positioning them at an angle to where they'll be pointed to pick up the rear license plate of a vehicle. So as far as getting information off the plates, there are several ways to do it. The camera system will be plugged into the LEDS database, which will flag all stolen cars, all felony suspect cars. So the system designed to any time that type of vehicle will enter our jurisdiction, it'll pop up and let us know this vehicle has passed the intersection of such and such street.
For some in the city of Springfield, the big news comes as a shock. One of the biggest talking points surrounding flock cameras is privacy.
Well, I was a little surprised because from you, that was the first time I've heard about it, and we've lived in Springfield for 9 years now. But then after the shock wore off, it does seem helpful if it does help catch people who are not going to obey the laws.
So I have mixed feelings about that. On one hand, I know that it helps police catch people, maybe criminals and so forth. But on the other hand, it seems like kind of an invasion of privacy.
The lieutenant wants to assure residents the flock cameras are purely for the safety of the community and has placed extra protections in place. Those security measures are even on the state level. Senator Ron Wyden releasing a statement on the cameras saying, quote, Oregonians should never be driving in fear that automatic license plate reader cameras installed by police departments could be used by anti-abortion forces in other states or by Donald Trump's authoritarian deployment of immigration agents. When I learned that Flock had adopted stronger privacy protections for other states, I demanded that Oregonians get the same protections too. I'll keep watchdogging this company's commitment to make sure it's carried out throughout our state, end quote. As far as an estimated date of completion, Lieutenant Crawley says they are they are in the planning phase to see where the flock cameras will be most beneficial throughout the city. Crawley added SPD is committed to keeping the public informed as the process moves forward and educating the public about what the cameras can and cannot do. Well, Lily, we talked about it multiple times. This is a talker that's going to continue to be one that is a focus of both Eugene and Springfield residents. We hear a lot of this kind of idea that the data is not going to be saved at each police department. I'm just hesitant to put my full faith in that the fact that it can't be accessed by someone with nefarious plans or something along those lines. I just can't get past that.
Well, and it seems, your feelings match some concerns, both in the Eugene area and Springfield area. Those interviews we just heard, kind of both sides of what we heard over here in Eugene. So it's definitely still more questions, some support, some questions. And you mentioned a public meeting coming up in the Springfield area, which I'm sure, those concerns will be brought up there.
Yeah, Police Commission meeting coming up later this week. You can find it on the Springfield City calendar if you're interested in having your voice